Good morning, Facebook friends. So last night I had a conversation with a very, very dear friend of mine. We go all the way back to grade 9. For those of you who are interested in calculating, that is more than 30 years. And anyway, I had the privilege of, I do believe, introducing her to the concept of mindfulness. She came to one of my Day of Mindfulness retreats more than a year and a half ago, actually. And she accepted my invitation to attend as she was at a point in her life where she felt like she needed something more. Living life on the surface wasn't really quite cutting it anymore. And so the Day of Mindfulness, as you can imagine, in one day, we can only look at taking it so deep. For a lot of people, it was a brand new, pure introduction to exactly what is mindfulness. And I'll say this, mindfulness is not about meditating, although meditation often forms part of a mindfulness practice. Mindfulness is about being really and truly fully present to the moment that you're in and living in as much as possible without judgment of yourself, without others, living in full acceptance of what is. Mindfulness is a way to live life deeper, to make more relationships, to experience more joy because you are more present, and that's where joy happens, is in the present moment. And last night we were having a conversation about mindfulness, and she brought up the conversation because I had loaned her a book. It's Michael Singer's book, The Untethered Soul. And she had been reading and is in the process of reading The Untethered Soul. And at the same time is reading my wonderful husband, Neil Thrussell, L. Neil Thrussell's books, A Warrior's Heart. She read The Awakening. She's partway through Perseverance. And she was amazed at how beautifully those books dovetailed each other. Neil's spiritual fiction story, which is an incredible illustration of the principles that she's reading about in Michael Singer's book. And she said, I loved your mindfulness day, and I think you just want to take it deeper. You want to take people deeper. I don't know how that would be. Probably a course where people actually do mindfulness practices at least once a week. Because I'm getting that this whole concept of understanding energy and flow and all of that is part of mindfulness. It's about being conscious and aware, but there are so many levels of that consciousness and awareness. And she got me thinking, have I been consciously aware of taking my own mindfulness deeper? Am I even consciously aware that there are levels of conscious awareness? And so I spent some time reflecting on that, sort of fell asleep with that concept, I believe, and woke up this morning going, yes, my life is much deeper than it used to be. And I think, like anything, if you focus on something, it just keeps becoming bigger and more prevalent in your life. Truth, yes, that is the law of attraction. That whatever you focus on expands. So the fact that I have focused on mindfulness and that I continue to keep it a practice in my life, I do believe means I have automatically been taking it deeper and deeper. And there are just little signs, little evidences of being aware of energy and in the flow and of being more mindful. And I gave her a very simple illustration that I would not have thought of as being evidence of being more mindful. And yet, I do believe it is upon reflection. And that was this simply. Last week, on 3 separate occasions, Neil quickly tossed something to me and snap. I reached out and grabbed it like no tomorrow. It was like without hesitation, in pure confidence, with no doubt. I just caught whatever he said. And as I was describing that to my friend last night, I thought, "Whoo, Karate Kid." and this is amazing because even though I am a dance teacher, I have been an amazing klutz when it comes to hand-eye coordination. I could not catch something thrown at me if my life depended on it in the past, and here I was. Hey, good morning, David Stewart. Oh my goodness, such a long time no see. Namaste. Blessings to you. And yeah, that klutziness that I couldn't catch anything if my life depended on it completely disappeared. And I've just been so present and aware that something being thrown at me in total surprise didn't take me by surprise. And then last night, it was affirmed again last night. I was out for a walk around the dry pond in our neighborhood, and where there's a cricket pitch, and there were several teams practicing down there, and somebody cracked a ball way out of the park. It went flying across the road in front of me. I ran over to the ball, I grabbed it, I walked back to the sidewalk so that I was safe and not standing in traffic, and I tossed an overhead throw, and it was perfect. It was exactly the right height, the right distance, and went exactly to the gentleman who was waiting to catch it. I was impressed. I've never been able to throw a ball like that. And I do believe that this sense of awareness has expanded into my energy field, and I am just more aware. And it is a marvelous feeling to be able to report this to you in recent awareness. It's so exciting. It's a fun share. And I'm incredibly grateful to Michelle for instigating the conversation last night and giving me the opportunity to think more about mindfulness practices. So where do I start with for you? Today, I invite you to be more present to your five senses. Just be more aware. In any given moment, just stop. What do you see? What do you see with your eyes? Look around. Really take in how many amazing number of things there are to see in any given moment. And if you're in nature, how many different shades of green can you see? Not just see the green, but how many different shades of green? Because there are multitudes of shades of green. And when you're listening, what are you hearing? The traffic, the wind, the leaves in the wind, birds. Oh, 3 different kinds of birds. There are layers of sounds to be hearing. And what are you feeling? The breeze on your skin, the fabric as it touches your skin, your own hands as they're clasped together. What are you textilely feeling? What else is there? Smell. What do you smell in any given moment? What does the air smell like? Are there scents and aromas being carried? Can you smell, if you're outside, can you smell the dirt itself? Can you smell water because it's rained recently? Or you get the idea. What have we covered? Sight, hearing, smell, touch, taste. What do you taste? Maybe you're not eating anything and you don't taste anything at all. Maybe you haven't had your morning toothbrush yet, and what you're tasting is that morning yuck. Just be aware of it. And you notice I said morning yuck. That's kind of a judgment. The next step is to not judge what you hear. Like, are you labeling something a noise? Is it a sound rather than a noise? You might call it a noise if it causes a sense of disruption and dis-ease within you. Somebody said to me, oh, to call something noise is a judgment. However, the word noise, by its own nature, does imply judgment. Something is noise when it is irritating to you. A sound is just a sound. You can remain neutral about it. So that's your fun exercise for today, for the rest of the week, for the rest of the month, for the rest of your life. Really pay attention to your senses and really do so without judgment about what you're noticing. Would love to hear that, how that goes. Feel free to message me anytime or post here on my wall. And with that, create a beautiful day. A beautiful, mindful day. Namaste.